Okay. Down. Can I get behind me?
Comrade getting molested by his dog.
Go.
All
Want to get behind me?
What's the name of your dog?
That's Coco. Come on.
We should name him Santa's Little Helper.
What?
You know what that's from, right? Shit.
Yeah.
Is that your dog's tail beating the shit out of the thing there?
Come on, Stanley. Come here, Stanley. Funny. Stanley, come on. This is Stanley.
Hi, Lisa.
This little guy, Stanley.
You have 2 dogs now?
Yeah, I got 2 dogs, 2 cats. The damn. Okay. Oh.
I've got 3 cats now. We just got a new cat, and it's named Harambe.
This is Stanley Manley. Stan the man.
Stan's moving too fast.
He's a good boy.
The algorithm can't keep up. This guy doesn't know there won't be any games this year. Well, we can talk about that too, man. I mean, the University of Georgia says they're going to have people on campus. So do like 7 other SEC schools.
Yeah, but you can't just have. Yeah, but you can't just have. California won't be having people on campus. Boston won't have any. Boston College, Syracuse won't have any.
It's not like they play any footballs out there. You like that, Keith? Hey, Keith, I've got some good tickers. Check this one out. Damn it. Kale's wiping cream off his face. I don't know where Kale is. Hopefully, he'll show back up tonight. But we'll go ahead and we will get the show started. Welcome into the latest edition of the Rob Comrade and Kale Show. I am Rob Sanders, your host. I represent the Clemson Tigers on this podcast, winners of 2 of the last 4 national championships. I normally have 2 co-hosts with me, but I've only got 1 tonight. We're still waiting on the 3rd leg of the show. But my 1 co-host that is here is the comrade, Mike Dobreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Always great to be a Gamecock, even in these challenging times that we face right now. That's always the key word, the key phrase, these challenging times.
Challenging times. Well, jeez. I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We're still waiting on Cale Hall, so I thought we'll just give him a call right now while we're on the show. And we'll leave him a message. Here we go. We're calling up Cale's number right now. There you see it, Cale Hall. I'm not giving his phone number out. That's what some people would do to you, though. If people knew your phone number, they'd give it out in a minute. People
Lord.
give it out.
Give address, the whole deal. I got people who think about me 24/7.
It's pretty funny. Yep, come here. You can hand me the new kitten here. Hold on. Cale. Oh, gotta wait for it. Hold on. This is live. This is how we do it. Cale, this is the comrade and Rob. We just wanted to tell you, get your ass on the show. Marcus Mariota says you're drunker than a skunk. Cale will be here in a minute, busy wiping cream off his face. We're all waiting on you, sir. Please join the show. Thanks. Goodbye. All right, so there you go. There's our message to Cale Hall. By the way, the comrade was showing off his pets earlier. If you're watching that on YouTube, you can see that now. This is my newest cat, Harambe the cat. Yep, she's already like frisky as hell. Harambe the cat. That's it. There you go. Look at Harambe. Harambe. All right, let me give her back to my daughter now. Oh, well, she's trying to fix her bottle over there. So I'll hold Harambe the cat for a minute. All right, tonight on the show, we did the FPI rankings for the SEC a couple weeks ago, but it's interesting that BetOnline came out with their projected win totals. I thought we'd go over some of those because those look a little bit different than the FPI. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But first of all, we've got to thank our sponsors of the show, including Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. Be sure and check them out as they try to get through these challenging times, as the comrade says. They should be getting able to open up relatively soon. But when they do open back up, you can go and check them out. You can still order good food from them right now. Callaway's Bar and Grill.com. Be sure and check them out on Facebook as well. The good folks at Callaway's. We also have DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the comrade. Comrade, read away.
I stand at 5'9" tall, a full 6 inches shorter than Dennis Wilson. It sucks to be a Gamecock. The following ACC coaches are all better than the idiot we have in Columbia. Dabo Sweeney, Mac Brown, Scott Satterfield, Dino Babers, Mac Brown, Dave Clausen, Bronco Mendenhall, Justin Fuente, Mike Novelli, David Cutcliffe, Pat Narduzzi, Dave Doran, Jeff Collins, and Jeff Halfley. A fullback is not going to help our team. We have a better chance of getting a refund from 3.5 Forks flooring. That's true. I am the reason Cale Hall pisses in the sink. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message's courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. Thanks to Dennis for sponsoring the show. Hey, I want to thank our patrons as well. These are folks that give $1 or $2 a month, and you can do that right now by going to robertscomrade.com. But our patrons are Lawton Swan, Thomas Dana Young, Stacy Hamp, Keith Harrelson, Jamie Phillips, Tabitha Sims, Robert Knight, Positive Mike, Lisa Sester Harkins, Jeff Pritchett, Christian Young, Nathan Medlin, Eddie Hicks, Sally Donegan, and Melanie Bookhart. We appreciate them for sponsoring the show. So thanks a lot to those folks. You can be a patron too. Go to robincomrade.com. All right. So, Comrade, I want to go over some of these because some of these are different. Did you notice that?
I did. I looked at it briefly, but I didn't notice the differences yet. So I haven't really broken down.
It's a little bit different, and it's fun to talk about some of these because I think things change every now and then. But I thought we'd go over them, and why don't we start out west? They've got Alabama, and the way I'm going to go with this, the SEC is so obsessed with Clemson. No, Ashley, I'm not obsessed with anything, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I have the SEC numbers in front of me, so I thought we'd go over those first because I was being polite. Personally, I think Clemson will do fine if they played an SEC schedule, especially with teams like South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. You got what, 2 teams over there?
I think Ashley's a tater. I think she's saying SEC is still obsessed with Clemson. I think she's a tater.
Oh. Okay,
that's
well,
a tater.
Ashley.
That's a tater fry. That's a tater fry.
Well, but
it's actually Clemson, so it's SEC.
By the way, we have the new ticker going tonight. Lisa's upset she's not on the ticker. Apparently, she wasn't paying attention earlier because she is on the ticker
one.
now.
It's the first one that comes up. Second one. Good Lord.
Yeah. Good
Once
Lord.
again, spreading fake news. That's what she does.
Look. There's Lisa's name. There's Positive
Where
Mike.
Positive Mike, Mrs. Sarah Harkins.
Look at you, Lisa.
Look at that. Number 2 and number 2. Not good enough.
Comrade put those together, so that would be his fault. I'm just saying.
Not good enough. Good Lord.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. I like the new ticker. The new ticker makes me happy. I don't know why. I mean, I make it say anything. Look, that one's pretty funny there. We'll just go with that. Anyway. So I wanted to look at some of these, and I apologize to you, Ashley, if I misspoke there.
Yeah,
But
now that he knows you're a Clemson fan, he backs off. Yeah, the truth is Clemson is obsessed with the SEC. Clemson fans watch the SEC network more than anybody else does. You guys live in that network. You desperately want to be in the SEC. Don't lie. You desperately want to be in the SEC. Desperately.
Why would we want to be in the SEC?
You want to be in there. You want to be included in the big dance, the big party.
We go anyway.
Go on TigerNet.com, read your forums. I can point out about 8 different threads a week that deal with Clemson in the SEC. I think we could hang with them in there. Me too. Okay, Jimbo, I do too. Like it's the SEC constantly. You would love to be in the SEC.
There's only 2 teams in the SEC that are worth a shit. I mean, let's be honest. It's LSU and Alabama. LSU and Alabama, if we're talking football.
Okay.
Yeah, what? LSU and Alabama suck? Is that what you're going to go?
Yeah, there's more than 2 there, but keep on trying.
There's 2. Simple as that.
Carlos, I hate NASCAR with a passion. Let me tell you a story. I met my wife, good Lord, 10 years? I don't know, a while ago. Over a decade ago. Okay? And she kind of likes NASCAR a little bit. And she's from Florence, Darlington area, not far from there. And I gave it a shot. I watched Daytona 500 like a long time ago. It was the one where the damn pavement kept on coming up. Remember that year? Where the damn pavement kept on, That was my first one I watched all the way through. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm open-minded. I'm going to give it a chance. That's what I watched. I said, I can't watch the sport anymore. They can't figure out pavement. Okay, so I don't know. It's the only sport coming back for now. Well, golf's coming back too. PGA Tour's coming back, but
they got fights next week with the.
I don't really. I count that, but I don't really count that. I mean, it's a sport. I'm not saying it's not a sport, but I'm talking about more like in terms of leagues. Like I count NASCAR as a league. I'm thinking more of that, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't think I'll be watching NASCAR. I'm not that hard up. I'll watch some old baseball games. I'll watch PGA Tour. I'll watch a lot of that. My dad in Arizona, Papa Comrade, he watches the Golf Channel 24/7, and so to him, like I watch golf casually now. I watch golf for the majors basically, and I'll watch a major, and I'll say, man, the leaderboard's kind of crappy, and he goes, what do you mean? It's a great leaderboard. Well, to him, every leaderboard's great because he knows every damn player on the PGA Tour. Like he knows them backwards and forwards. To him, they're all named guys. Like to me, I'm looking at the top 20 golfers in the world. I know them now. I don't follow like I used to when I was a kid. Back in the 80s, I followed all the time. But PGA Tour swimming back in South Carolina, the Heritage. Be pretty cool to watch them play Hilton Head.
Right.
And Tiger Woods, I don't think he's going to play in it. He's afraid. That course scares him. It's too narrow for him. He can't.
You know why? You know why that? And I'm serious. I've read something about this. And you're a guy who actually coached golf. Should I put that out there, Mike? Is that all right for me to put out there?
I have
Are you
coached golf.
Are you talking about that or not?
You can. Yes, you can.
Okay. So Mike coached golf. I won't tell you where he coached golf, but apparently someone thought that he was good enough at golf or had the ability to teach golf to people. So I value Mike's opinion on golf. I don't value his opinion on college football because everything is Will Muschamp. But golf and baseball, I value his opinion. I've heard that Tiger Woods, there's 2 reasons why he doesn't want to play at Harbortown. One is because of the payout, which makes a lot of sense. And 2 is because that's not the kind of course, according to what I've read, and that's why I'm asking you, that you can't just go up there and rip balls. You have to actually be able to place them and be more of a consistently in the fairway, and that's why Tiger Woods kind of shies away from that course. Is that far-fetched, or am I just full of shit?
Well, first off, Tiger's going to play a whole lot anyway. I mean, he gears for the majors, and I don't blame him. I mean, he doesn't need the money, and so he plays everything around the majors. So he plays the big tournaments. He plays Memorial for Jack. He plays Bay Hill for Arnie. Okay, he plays up in Charlotte every year. He likes that golf course for some reason. But Harbour Town's a tough course, and plus Harbour Town too has been played after the Masters as well. A lot of guys are like playing after a major. They have to kind of take that week off too. But even before it was around the Masters, he didn't play, and a lot of it was the course is just kind of tight. Now we'll find out for sure, because if it comes back, there is no reason for Tiger not to play, because you haven't played golf in a while. You're trying to get more reps, okay? So you would think that the Heritage this year would have a great field, like one of its greatest fields ever. And so if Tiger's playing this one, then it's really about the course, okay? And, people kind of talk about that too. So we'll find out. If Tiger's not playing this year, I hope he plays just to see how he does in that course. Real quick, so I played there back in the day. I lived in Hilton Head, and I'd play that course about twice a week for free. That's one of my perks of my job, okay? Booming business. And on the back nine one afternoon, from the tips, this is back when I was playing all the time. I haven't played in a while now. I shot 35 from the tips. Now, I'm not going to tell you the front nine. The front nine was a struggle. But I shot 35 from the tips in the back. And so what I do every year at the Heritage now is I look at every guy who shoots over a 35 in the back, and I say, I'm better than he is. Better than he is. That's my joke with my dad. I go, the following golfers, I'm better than they are today. And so I want to see Tiger Woods go out there and put the back nine and shoot 38 so I can laugh at him.
But, Mike, is that a fair statement that you have to be more of a precise golfer? You can't just bash balls and have them land outside of the fairway. I mean, that's more of a precision course.
You got to be straight. You got to be straight, and you got to work the ball. I mean, not that he couldn't do it, but like it's not a course that he would like to play. But I always would think that a major would be really good there. You could make it harder too. It's already hard as it is. I mean, the PGA Tour, it's one of the harder courses in terms of their scoring average, not counting the majors, because the majors they grow the grass up and they do all the stuff to the course, make it harder. So, but I always thought they could make that a U.S. Open course or a PGA champion course. But the Heritage is already there. But I can see a major there and see what would happen. It'd be pretty cool. But it's a great. I love the course. Number 9, I can't stand. Number 9 haunts me in my dreams. I bitch about it and say it's like a crappy little hole because I can't play that hole. I cannot play it. I've taken some big numbers in that hole, but yeah, it's a great course, a lot of fun to play. I miss playing it. That's one of my big job perks back in the day. I could play that course for free whenever I wanted to, pretty much whenever I wanted to.
Pretty cool stuff there. Let's get to the over and under on this stuff, comrade. We've got and the way I want to do this is that they've got the bets at that they've got over 160 plus 140. That's what they've got for Alabama. I'm going to ask you, would you take the bet or not? Would you take the over or the under bet here? Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So for Alabama, they've got them at 10.5. I'm going to take the over. I think that makes a lot of sense. The Tide are going to be really good. And if they're getting Mosley back, which is like the quarterback of their defense, I think Alabama is going to be really, 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 really strong.
Yeah, I can't see them losing 2 games in the regular season. Maybe lose the SC title game. I can see that maybe. But regular season, I just don't see 2 losses. I can see 1 loss for sure, but I can't see 2 losses. I pick the over in that if I had to bet.
So the over at 160 you would go with.
Yes.
Fair enough. Arkansas at 3.5. We had trouble with this, but over 110, under 110. That's basically even money, right, Mike?
Yeah, 110's even pretty much. Yeah,
110's even pretty much.
110's the juice. The 10 is the juice to the bookie or the sports book.
Over and under 110 at 3.5 wins. I want to believe in Arkansas because I like the way their coach is acting. I don't know if he can coach yet or not. I mean, nobody really knows, to be completely honest with you, but 3.5 wins. I will take since I have to pick here and I can't go push, I'll take the over. Why not? 4 for Arkansas.
I think, how many wins they had last year? They won what?
2.
2, okay. I think this coach, just not having Chad Morris worth 2 more wins. Just not having him. Like if you put like if you put like Carlos Holder as their coach this year, that's just 2 more wins right there because Chad Morris is in there. And plus, this guy can coach a little bit. I think they might get 5.
Mike, let's be honest. We don't know if he can coach or not. We know he can coach.
Carlos Holder can win 4 games at Arkansas this year. Because just Chad Morris isn't around. So I'm taking the over. That's how bad Chad Morris is. Sorry, Nick Merritt.
Go find the over and under on
Auburn
here. Mike, this is crazy. Auburn's at 8.5 wins. The over is at 210. The under is at plus 175. I'm taking the under simply because I don't think that Malzahn and Morris are going to get along. I really don't think so. So I'm going to take the under at 8.5.
Well, first of all, my gambling philosophy, I never bet on anything where I'm giving up minus 210 or something. Like that just does not – that is not how you gamble. I'm sorry. There's people like that, though, who will gamble like on the money line of a 35-point game. I'm going to take Alabama to beat Pine Bluff U. I'm going to put $10 down on it. And they win like back 40 cents. Like, I'm not sure what, whatever. So, I don't like that. So if I were to bet the game, I'd be like, I take the under. I'm not sure they're going to go under. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I like how they do this though, because this is how you bet baseball. Baseball has a run line too, but basically the spread in baseball is the money they give you. So when the Red Sox play the Braves, it's not really a run spread. It's if the Braves got their ace going, the Braves be favored, the Red Sox would be like plus 150. So you always kind of get those odds. And those you don't gamble a whole lot, what that means by plus 150 is that you if you bet $100, you win 150. Okay? If you bet on Auburn to go over, you have to bet $210 to win $100. Okay? Which is just crazy. Like, I mean, people do that, but I would never do that. I wouldn't bet the game. Or I take the plus part. So
up next, they've got LSU at 9.5 wins, over 175, under 155. I think that's too high as far as the over goes, so I'm going to take the under at plus 155. I think they win 9 games. I think they lose to Alabama. Probably wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Texas A&M, and probably wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Texas, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't bet this right here. I'd probably walk away from this. But I had a bet, though, I'd take the under just because of the plus number. I don't like giving away money in terms of those odds. So thinking they can get 3 losses, that could happen. Their schedule's pretty tough. They got to put the Gamecocks, of course. I mean, it's right there. You got to chalk that one up right there probably as a loss for them. So because the Gamecocks are the fullback. LSU doesn't have been prepared for that yet, so I'm prepared.
Ole Miss is at 5.5 wins. The over is at 145. The under is at 125.
Well, what's the over? Plus 145 or minus?
Over is minus 145.
Oh, give me the under on that. Give me the under. Lane Kiffin's a shit show.
I like Lane Kiffin as a coach, but I also, if you're taking Lane Kiffin, in my mind, I think that you're already setting yourself up to look. We know this is going to blow up in our face. We know. We just hope that he has 2 good seasons beforehand, and maybe we can find somebody else. So there's that. So I'll take the under. The comrade's right on that one. Mississippi State at 6.5. Over is minus 170. Under is plus 150.
Ooh, give me
that. I think they win 6 games. So I'm gonna take the under.
Remember, we have a little bet if we ever play a season that they win more games than the Gamecocks. So you must think the Gamecocks win 5, apparently.
4 or 5.
Yeah, so I'm taking the under as well. I don't think they're good enough.
And Texas A&M, the over is at 160 or minus 160. The under is at plus 140. Total wins 9.5. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be that good. Give me the under.
I will say this though. I looked at their schedule the other day. Their schedule, not that it's easy, but like last year, the schedule was really hard. Like last year, the schedule was a lot like ours. They had to play you guys. They had to play Bama, LSU. They played Georgia as well, didn't they, last year?
Right.
They play Georgia. Okay, so they're scheduled in real. So I think a lot of what the whole A&M love is this year is that the schedule this year is much easier than last year, and I think just because of that they'll have like more wins. So I can understand a little bit, but I'll probably get the under as well. I think they probably go 9-3.
Let's move to the East. Florida's at 9.5. The over is minus 220. The under is plus 180. That's kind of crazy when you really think about it, because you're kind of. I don't know if I want to bet on that at all, to be honest with you. Just with the numbers,
I probably wouldn't though. But I think a lot of these teams they have the under numbers at that nice plus number. I would probably roll on a bunch of those, and basically, if you break even in the bet, you win money. So if I bet the under on Florida and Auburn and all these things here, and I hit 2 out of 4, well, you made money on the deal. You know what I mean? So that's how you I think about it too. So Florida, yeah, I probably wouldn't bet the game. Bet this kind of bet. If I had to, I'd go under as well, just for the plus margin.
Yeah, I'm going to go over because I think Florida's going to be a lot better than that. I think they're going to win 10, 11 games by themselves. But Georgia's at 10.5. Over is 210. Under is 175. Give me the under.
Ooh, yeah, I kind of like the under there too. I mean, I can see them losing 2 games this year. Got to play. Who's their West team this year? Got to play. I know they play Auburn, but
they play Alabama this year.
They play Bama this year, yeah. You got Bama.
This is a year where it's like they always bitch. We play in the SEC, but then they play South Carolina.
Play the
shit. Yeah. This year they actually have to go across West.
Yeah, I see them losing twice. I mean, just remember they got to play the Gamecocks this year with the fullback. Last year, beat them without a fullback. I mean, this year we got a fullback now. That's about 7 points right there, at least. So yeah, I can see them going 10-2. I might be under a net.
Kentucky's at 6.5. The over is minus 200. The under is plus 170. I'm taking the over because Stoops can coach.
I wouldn't bet this, but I see him going 7-5 this year. And I would never bet this game at minus 210 though. I would never bet that bet. That's not
minus 200, not 210.
Yeah, minus 2. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's not. I'm not going to try to bet something and win half my money back. So,
yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it, but I think they're going to go over.
Total wins for Mizzou is at 5.5. Over is 110. Under is 110. I don't think that anybody knows what the hell to expect from Mizzou. I mean, completely new coach, but their non-conference schedule is hot garbage. Yeah. I don't think they beat South Carolina because it's early in the season and it's on the road, but would anybody be really shocked if they rolled into Columbia and won? I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't.
I also think too.
5.5. I would take the under.
Assuming we play in the fall, which is not going to happen, by the way. But assuming we play in the fall, I think teams with new coaches are at a disadvantage. You have a new coach or a new quarterback because they play in the fall. I'm not sure how much practice they're going to get in. So I'll probably take the under there. If they play in the spring, I think it's going to happen. It might be a little bit different, though, too. But we give them a little more time playing the schedule. But, yeah, if you've gun to my head, if a team has a brand-new coach and or a brand-new quarterback that hasn't played, I like them to kind of underachieve a little bit more than their talent because of the fact that they'll be kind of further behind other teams that have a coach who's been in place there for a while.
Up next, Tennessee is 7.5. The over is at 110. The under is at 110. I mean, I need me some Peyton Manning tea bags to figure this out, Mike. I don't know where to go with Tennessee. I think they're going to beat South Carolina.
No.
But as far as the rest of the season, I don't know.
That'll be the game. They'll go 7-5. Take the under. 7-5 season, and NASCAR Ball will be happy.
Either way.
NASCAR Ball was the guy who wanted to burn down Philip Fulmer's house for going 10 wins every year, but now 7-5, he'll run around the streets naked celebrating it. That's what happens.
I wonder if NASCAR Vol was there to help Peyton Manning with the teabagging.
He might have been.
I don't know. Vanderbilt is at 3.5 as far as total wins. Over is minus 160. Under is plus 140. This one's interesting because, well, not really. You know what? Fuck it. Vanderbilt's going to go 3-9, so I'll take the under.
I'll go 3-9 too. Plus, you get the little extra little juice on that as well. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The under.
Finally, South Carolina is at 5.5. The over is minus 145, Mike. The under is plus 125. Now take your Gamecock heart out of it. I want you to bet with the Dobreski wallet here. I don't want you to spend rubles, only American money here, sir.
Well, I wouldn't bet on this just because of the minus 145 number. I don't like betting on those kind of odds. But what I would do is I would go to Vegas and find like a prop line, and I would try to go ahead and bet a 6.5 point line and give me a little extra cash in there because the Gamecocks are going 7-5. So I would do that. So I try to bet up and try to get like a line on that. That's what I try to do. I line shop. I head on down to Old Vegas where they do chalkboards, right. Old men in leisure suits, no electronics. I go find that and say, listen, how much can I put down the Gamecocks going 7-5 into the Gator Bowl? What odds can you give me? They'll probably say plus 210, sir. I'll say, here you go. Here's $100. I'll see you back at the end of the year. That's what I probably do.
I'm taking the under because the Gamecocks. Yep. All right. So final thing we're going to get into this evening is Kentucky. On a couple of days ago, they came out and said that they plan. This is from their university president, and I'm going to read this exactly as he wrote it. The distinctive residential educational experience we provide at UK has attracted thousands of students from across the country, across the country and the globe. The experience is critical for the future. This differentiated education will be more necessary than ever to help us and our students meet the ongoing and daunting new challenges our world must now confront. So they join Mike, LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Mizzou, all in saying that they are going to be back up and at it in for the college football season. The commissioner of the SEC says that they plan on having the season and having it on time. I have personally spoken to 2 ACC head coaches, and they have told me they're planning on having the season on time. I don't know if we're going to have the season on time just by what I've read, okay? I'm just being completely honest.
The issue is what people kind of forget is that, like, college football is all connected. You cannot, and I understand the Southeast. First of all, we don't know what's going to happen, okay? But states like California are not opening back up till November. And so they're not playing college football in the fall. So you're going to have a college football season without teams from California? I mean, I guess you can, but I don't think you are. Boston College, Syracuse, I can tell you right now, they're not playing college football in the fall. So what are you going to do in the ACC? Right. Not have two, So it's got to be kind of all in or nobody in. And so they won't cancel the season because they can't cancel the season. They need the money. And so I think you're going to see a winter / spring kind of thing where they may start the season maybe in October, maybe late October they start it. Maybe they wait till January to start it. Maybe they wait till whatever, but it will not be a normal season. And my prediction, I don't see any way college football is played normally in the fall, September kickoff, all that stuff. Your best hope is late October kickoff, and you run it through the spring. That's possible, but yeah.
I think it's going to be hard to get people into stadiums on, and because the social distancing thing that they're talking about. First of all, I think that for college football season to go on, you need a lot more days like we had today where there's 90-degree weather and get a chance to cook some of this off so that the curve will continue to go down. Okay. But on the other hand, I'm not a doctor. Okay. And I know there's a lot of people that are out there and they're saying things like, everything should be fine and they should be back up to snuff. And, I as I said, I've talked to 2 ACC head coaches that I've had on conference calls and everything else. And they've told me point blank off the record, because I can't put it out here or anywhere else, that they think the season's going to happen. The commissioner of the ACC said the same thing, the commissioner of the SEC. So people with a lot of power on the college football front think it's going to happen. I, on the other hand, am concerned that they're going to have a hard time getting students on campus. And I'm not talking about just here. I'm talking about up north and out west. And I'm thinking a lot of times people seem to forget that it gets colder quicker in up north states. And when that happens, we could have the bounce back effect from this coronavirus that if you're reading about this, that's bound to happen. So it's not everywhere you go where it's 80 degrees. I checked the weather last year, by the way, for Clemson and South Carolina home games in November, Mike. This was interesting. Clemson and South Carolina both played on 70-degree days in November last year with games in state. Whereas Boston College, they had games in the 50s and the 40s in November, which is kind of the breeding ground temperature for this virus. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
Okay, real quick, we got NASCAR Vol's got nuts in his chin. Okay, first of all, NASCAR Vol. Let me explain something real quick. The college football powers that be, they don't decide if they play. I hate to break this to you. I hate to bust your bubble on this. Like for instance, right now, if the college football season was going to start tomorrow, do you think the SEC commissioner has the power to say we're playing? Nah. No, they won't. Okay. So understand that too. Glenn asked correct information. California has pretty much said they're not having any sports with spectators until after Thanksgiving. You can Google it, look it up there. That's the governor of California. So you can want it to happen. The SEC commission can want it to happen. Everyone can want it to happen. But you are going to have a situation where not all states are going to be on board with having games in the fall. And so what do you do with that? What do you do when you have a schedule where you're playing Syracuse and they're not on campus, they're not practicing?
I think that, and here's the other thing too, you got a set amount of folks that are talking about, okay, games could get started in November. I don't know. I mean, the idea of it playing in cold weather, which is more where the virus can actually thrive compared to the warm weather, doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. I think that I do agree with what NASCAR Vol says here on. So some teams will play and some won't. Yeah, you can have that argument, but the reality is that if you have half the conference that says that they're not going to do it, then what do you got? Seriously, you've got to fill those holes on the schedule with somebody. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm kind of surprised that Mizzou came out and said they were going to be on board with it. I really do. So that's interesting in its own right. I don't know what's going to happen, but
okay. Okay, so real quick, Glenn asked where I get this information. Okay, so April 14th said, first of all, Los Angeles has banned concerts and sports until 2021. Okay, that's one of the things they're talking about right now is banning all sports to 2021. Gavin Newsom says he doesn't see sports in the cards in California until after Thanksgiving, late November, hosting them. This is California. Okay, now things can change. They come up with the vaccine tomorrow.
I'm not. Once again, you and I go back and forth on this, but I do think that if he says we can't have games here until November, trust me, if the Pac-12 can make it happen where they could get, and I'm just using them as an example, they can schedule games out of California for September and October and then bring the games back in November. I think that they would do that.
Yeah, well, NASCAR Vol asked, well, if NASCAR and UFC and baseball, first of all, you don't know what baseball's playing. You don't know that. like they're trying to find a way to play. You don't know that. And here's the other thing too: if baseball does play, more than likely the Dodgers and the teams out west will play in a neutral site somewhere. All those things, and you can't just have home and homes. Like these kids might be on campus; they might be allowed to practice.
Right.
Okay.
And so, it's a monumental, unfair thing to ask UCLA to, let's say, their first 6 games of the season, you got to play away regardless. And you got to go to Washington State. I don't know what the hell their schedule is, but
and they're not allowed to practice. If they're not on campus, they're not practicing. If they're saying don't come to campus, they're not practicing. Right. Okay, they're doing Zoom practices. So right. I'm just saying. I think they're going to suspend. They're going to suspend the season till either late fall or spring. That way, all the teams can play all the stuff in there. So
I think the more logical thing to think about here is that the next major sport that could start on time is college basketball. It all ended when college basketball season was chopped before the tournament. I think that the next sport to start on time that is pretty consistent across the board is college basketball, because generally that starts December the 1st, in theory. You know, you have your Midnight Madness and all that. If we're looking for a sense of normalcy, I think that will happen. Now, the NFL came out today through their spokesman and said they're planning on 17 games in the and boom. But I don't think they give a shit whether they have.
Well, the NFL is different. Okay, one, there's 30 teams, right? 30 teams in the NFL, 32 teams. Okay,
something like that.
And you know, and they can, and it's not they're teams, okay, and they can move it around and play neutral sites, okay, and do things like that where they can move the facilities and practice. Okay, you're not going to do that for college kids. You're not going to say, by the way, it's not going to. It's just different. So it's a different thing. I can see,
and the NFL players are getting paid.
Yeah,
that's the other end of it.
It's just different. I mean, and I know this is hard to understand because schools, the SEC football is so important. Other schools aren't quite like, they're not going to say, listen, we got to have a football season. They need it for revenue wise, but they're going to come and have a discussion and say, listen, let's just postpone it till the spring, late winter, spring, and do it that way. And that way everyone can be involved in it. So, but I just don't see a September kickoff for college football.
NASCAR Vol says, do you really think the college presidents, the NCAA, and the TV companies are really going to sacrifice all that? No, they're not. Well, they've already given up on the NCAA tournament, which is millions and millions of dollars.
Well, they're going to play. They're not going to cancel the season. They're going to suspend it till the late winter or spring. They need to have a season, and then you're going to have a situation where you're going to have a season that ends in the spring and then come right back in the fall and play again and everything. So you have 2 college football seasons kind of back to back, which is pretty interesting. But you're not going to have it in September.
I'm sorry. The next one is Delta 900 normally has nothing valid to say, but this is actually a pretty good point. We're not even talking about how a school could reasonably ensure its athletes aren't hazarded by the virus. What can be done to reasonably look out for player safety? You know what? Delta 900, brother. That might be the quote of the night there, Mike.
Yeah, and football teams are pretty large in number. I mean, I don't listen. I think a lot of people go, well, they want to, I'm just saying, I hope it all goes to plan and I wake up tomorrow and there's a damn vaccine and they're like, okay, we're kicking off September Labor Day weekend. But I'm just saying.
I do like to end things with hope. Okay. One of the things that I'm hopeful about is the fact that the testing is getting easier. It's getting a lot easier to get tested. So
that's the key.
But I'm being honest.
That's the key. You got to have. It's not about the vaccine's going to be a ways off. You need to have testing, and so you can isolate a little bit more and kind of know what's going on. But
and I want to bring up something Delta 900 said again, and he talked about if we don't have college football, baseball, basketball, I'm essentially out of a job. I don't know what Delta 900 does, but I work in the sports industry too with my regular job, and I don't know how that's going to work out, to be completely honest with you. I really don't. Luckily, I do other things at my job, but I can tell you that I work for the biggest radio company in the world, and I can tell you that everyone within our company had to take a 5% pay cut. They had to agree to do it. So in addition, we've laid off 60% of our workforce. So this is something that is completely real. And trust me, I want to get this back as fast as we possibly can so we can get some semblance of normalcy back in our life. But on the other hand, I look at it from this perspective too. If they put kids back on campus and everything else goes according to plan, or how that they would want it to go, and one kid dies, they're going to sue the piss out of that university flat out. There are lawyers lined up for miles that'll be happy to take that case. And I'm not saying that one life's not important, but I'm just saying if one kid dies from coronavirus because
it can happen, and don't think it can't happen. If you've been reading some of the stuff that's going on, one of the things that happens in younger people that they're trying to figure out is that when they get it, some of them develop have strokes for some reason. It affects them differently. You saw a minor league baseball player, pretty good shape minor league baseball player, 25 years old for the A's. He died. Okay. So they don't know everything that happened.
And I don't want people to think it's about politics with myself or even with Mike, because it's not. And the reality is that regardless of which side of the aisle you sit on, there have been good things and bad things from both sides of the aisle. It's just a strange world we're living in right now. I do think that I think there's going to be a bounce back in the fall, and this is from several different scientists that I've read their stuff. And I think that we all need to be careful of that, because if this piggybacks onto the flu and we have the two combined, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to die. And that's as real as I can possibly get. I don't know how much more real I can get than that. There are people that are running their mouths now about, we need to get back and everything needs to go back to the way that it was because the economy. Look, I'm all about that. But I've had people that I know that have gotten this coronavirus that live in Charleston, and it's real and it can kill you. And if you don't like me for telling you that, there's nothing I can do to help you. It's just the way that I feel.
And I will say this too. You're going to see more and more states are opening back up. A lot of people think it's too early. We'll see. But if it's too early and all of a sudden this thing props back up again, say goodbye to college football. So, personally, I'd rather I want my sports back. Okay. I want baseball back. I'm not counting baseball coming back, but I do want college football season back, NFL season back. I miss gambling. I'm going to be honest with you. I miss two of my DraftKings, my fantasy leagues. People need to stay home. Keep it shut down for another couple of weeks and then try it, because I think you're going to see a bounce back.
Here's my thing on that. And I would much rather wipe the slate clean of this football season and just have it set in our heads that we're going to do everything we can to get college basketball season back on track. Not because I'm a college basketball guy. I want college football the best that I can possibly get it. But if we could get to a point where the entire country says, you know what, we're going to make that the target of when all the sporting events comes back is after Thanksgiving, and then go from there. If you want to do college football from November on, I'm fine with that. I do college football and basketball at the same time. I'm fine with that too. But the longer we wait, and the better chance that we have, according to what I've read. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy that puts stuff together. That's what I do.
I will predict this again. Clemson will not be the Gamecocks in football in 2020.
Crazy. Delta 900, you and I could be friends, Delta. You said some good stuff tonight. I'll gladly donate what I can to help secure our players' safety if we have college football season. Yeah, and once again, I like the idea if they could do it without fans for at least the first part of it. I don't really have a problem with that, but you have to be able to ensure that you're going to be able to get these folks on the out there and safe, and I think that's really important. By the way, there's a couple of leagues that are going to be the Petri dish. One of them is going to be the Coastal Plains League. They plan on starting their season July 1st, but it's not really a fair way to evaluate because their season will be over by August the 10th. So they've got, in the heart of the summer in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and Georgia, where it's going to be 100 degrees through every game, they may not have any cases of it simply because it's too damn hot. But I think people are going to look to those leagues and be like, look, what the hell? I think that's going to come of it. I think this, what the UFC is doing, people are going to look at that. And NASCAR, what they're doing, people are going to look at that. They're going to be the big Petri dishes, in my opinion. And we'll see how it goes from there. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a doctor. The comrade, I goof on him, but he's a pretty smart guy. He reads a lot. I try to read a lot, but I just can't. I can't figure this coronavirus out. I just can't do it.
No, no one can. There's a lot of unknown in terms of how it reacts when you get it. Okay, and so I just don't see it happening. I don't see football in September, college football in September. I think the best hope is they start late.
Let me ask you this, Mike, and I'm going to be as real as I can with you here. Would you go to a college football game in September at Williams-Brice Stadium?
Probably not.
I'm planning to go to Notre Dame this year when Clemson plays Notre Dame there. I would go to that game because it's in November, but I wouldn't if Clemson were playing Notre Dame in the first week of the season and you gave me free box tickets. Wouldn't go.
Yeah,
would not go.
I mean, listen, my mother is 73 years old, and she has some lung issues as it is. So I'm more concerned about giving it to her, which is why I'm real careful because I don't want to. I'm not having seen my mom. I see her. I drop off stuff in her garage for her, and I wave to her from her balcony, and we FaceTime. She lives about 2 miles away from me. But I'm more worried about her getting it. I was worried about my kids because my kids at the daycare at the end there are some kids who had flu-like symptoms, and I was worried they may have had it, and I didn't want my mom to see them. So I'm more worried about my mom getting anything else.
NASCAR Vol says he would go. Delta 900 says he would go. Look, and once again, if you go, that's on you, man. It's your personal choice to go. And I'm not looking down on you for that, man. If you want to go, go. But the reality is that for me, it's just too close. Another man, Delta, why are you an ass to me all the time? But you're actually a smart guy. We all have to calculate what the risk is worth. I may send Delta a Robin Comrade T-shirt. Carlos says he lost his mom this week. She was 80 years old.
We're sorry about that, Carlos.
Good thoughts for you, sir. And I'm sorry that happened. People lose their mama. It sucks. Glenn says people can't stay home forever. He would go. Some of the ladies that listen to our show, I know Lisa's over there. Beth's over there. Dana might be over there. Would you ladies go? Because guys, a lot of guys are gung-ho about it, and they would just go. I don't know. For me, I wouldn't. But I wonder if some of our ladies would go, if they could chime in over there. Would you go to a Clemson game in Death Valley in September? And don't tell me it depends on who they're playing. I don't want to hear that shit. Delta, I promise you, I normally get new shirts printed in October. If you're a big guy and you need a 4X, I will get you one printed. You let me know if you want a Clemson version or a South Carolina version. Lisa says I'd wear the mask and go. There you go, Mike. So one of the ladies would go. I don't know. I guess we should end the show with Beth says she would go. Now, Beth, I'm not trying to put her age out there, but Beth is
she's 94 years old, Beth.
Beth is not 94 years old.
She's not? Okay.
Get the hell out of here.
She was 94.
That's going to kick you in the face when she sees you. But Beth is an older lady. I don't think she minds me putting that out there.
She's 92 and a half.
She's not 90.
Doesn't look a day over 47, though.
Jesus Christ. Seeing Clemson touch their pet rock would be amazing. That's something, too. Is everybody going to touch the rock?
Yeah, I'll touch the rock, please.
Oh, man.
Touch the rock.
That's like when you watch a press conference now and they're all touching the microphone. Is everybody going to touch the rock?
I'm going to go fly.
I'm going to be pissed off. And he's going to go,
nobody
wants to give me my 110%. Nobody wants to touch my damn rock. Is he going to scream that like Coach Howard? What the hell?
I'm going to go fly Tom Hanks in. He can touch the rock first.
Fuck off. Beth says she's 59.
Oh, okay. I'm dyslexic. I thought 95, 59. I've reversed the numbers.
Oh, goddamn. I wouldn't take a whiz in a Death Valley urinal trough because I catch flesh-eating disease. Shut up. Williams-Brice Stadium has doo-doo ice. Everybody knows about that shit. All right. Goddamn, everybody's ripping the rock. Gamecock fans shouldn't worry about attending a game, only having to wear a mask till halftime. Gamecock fans are fine because by the 5th game of the season, a lot of them wear those paper bags over their heads. You guys are a shithole. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, do you have anything else you'd like to add to the show, comrade?
That's it.
Be sure to watch your podcast feed. I'm going to put up tomorrow an interview that I'm doing with Terrence Oglesby, former Clemson great. We're going to talk about The Last Dance. And he's going to tell me some Trevor Booker stories, former great player at Clemson. And I'm going to ask him about the fallout with Oliver Purnell, why he decided to leave early. So we'll get into that too. All of that and more. We'll have that up tomorrow. Just follow the podcast feed. All you got to do is subscribe to the podcast. For those watching on YouTube, this is a podcast too. Look for Robin Comrade Show on your iTunes. You can download the whole thing there. And I'm going to have interviews up throughout. Mike knows when I go to like ACC kickoff, I get to interview Dabo Sweeney, Mac Brown,
Dave Doran.
I interviewed last year. I interviewed all the conference players, I had the commissioner of the conference on, all kind of stuff going on at one time. So there you go with that. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast because you can catch all of that at one time. All right, comrade, are you done?
I'm done.
Yes, I think the comrade's done. With that, this show's a wrap.